Blessings and welcome everyone. Just a reminder before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign horoscope will give you the less prominent side story that'll also be playing out for this 2-week period. Remember, horoscopes serve best when observed, like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over all outcomes with your thoughts, actions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. If you wish to schedule any of my services or like access to more content via my Patreon, follow the links below or go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, Leo. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your second week of March 2021. And just a quick heads up for those of you who are Patreon pledgers, the weekly bonus astrology report is up, and you can check that out by following the links in the down bar below. Doing things a little bit differently. Instead of doing the big long live on Fridays, I actually publish a bonus report with a bunch of extra aspects, and then I have on screen listed where in each sign's chart these areas are going to be taking their effect. And so you can check that out if you'd like. Again, open the down bar below and just follow the link there. So what is going on with the astrology I want to talk about in this video? Well, in this video, we have a rather long aspect getting its beginnings. It's going to be with us for a good few weeks. And that is Mars recently arrived in Gemini, your 11th house of friendships and social networking, your platonic support system, forming a sextile to Chiron in Aries, your 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, your spirituality, your spiritual practice, as well as worldliness, your ideology, all of that. And Mars is the planet of action, problem solving, right? The divine ascended masculine, as well as overcoming obstacles, whereas Chiron is sort of like when people call it the wounded healer. But I like to think of it as our baggage, right? It's the distortion and discord that may have registered on our consciousness that we need to purge if we're going to have the best life possible and step into our mastery. Now, when we have this occur, and again, this is going to be going on for a good few weeks, Mars sextile to Chiron is actually bringing in a friend. Now, this may be a friend that you have, or this may be somebody new that is actually going to help you when it comes to advancing an area of your life that you have been having a really hard time graduating from or leveling up in or taking the next step with, whether this has to do with your spiritual practice or this has to do with your education, your career, your reach, how you want to connect to people all over the world. This friend is actually coming in to solve a problem that you have been battling with. However, pay attention. With Mars sextile to Chiron, it is also going to challenge maybe a complex or an insecurity or a wounding that we may have been holding on to or preserving at the same time. With Chiron in the 9th house, a lot of the times it's this sort of pretense or assumption of loyalty or dogma, whether it's loyalty or dogma to a certain field, certain career, a certain teacher, a certain, ideology or spirituality. But with Mars sextile to Chiron, we want to pay attention to the solution being offered by this friend, because it is going to be helping you graduate. It's going to help you level up. It's going to help you have a better quality of life here. It's not about fortification or psychological coddling or emotional fortification of any kind. It's about eliminating something that you have maybe been living with or choosing to abide by as a rule or a dogma, or maybe even for the sake of pleasing others. And this friend is helping you get away from that lifestyle and actually step into the light. As we get onto your cards, we have the spiritual theme of this week even being the King of Cups upright. And once again, you are being given an opportunity to not only be assisted, but also actually have a lot of issues that you've maybe been struggling with start to be dismantled and dissolved by paying attention to the approaches, to the methodologies, as well as the attitudes of others. And a lot of you Leo people are going to be taken under, a lot of people's wings this week. Now, I'm not saying that in a way where we're creating like a power dynamic, mentor, apprentice, leader, follower, or anything along those lines. But this could be seen as sort of like a situation where a lot of you are getting some very strong hands-on assistance and tutorship from people that you already recognize as actually being in their mastery in some way, or having something down that you want to have down as well. With the King of Cups, you are going to be paying attention, or I would recommend that you pay attention to where you are being guided to start stopping certain things that you may actually be thinking you have to, you have to do that are unnecessary, whether they're orders of operations, protocol, routines, traditions, right? Ninth house, dogma. And really paying attention to where you can start actually doing things your own way to actually have the best result possible, instead of trying to do things according to the feedback you get or the way you were conditioned or taught. And that's a big theme of this week here for you guys. Interestingly enough, we have for your material shifts, the Tower card in reverse. So we talk about your work, your job, your money, your finances, your living situation, anything and everything that has to do with, your practical affairs. And with the Tower card reversed, we are seeing something falling apart that is actually going to spring you into action. Now, with the Tower card reversed, I want to remind people that this is not necessarily happening to you. Okay. With the Tower card reversed, we are seeing an abrupt alteration, an abrupt end, or a collapse of a normal, or a collapse of a situation that is overdue to fall apart. But like I said, it's not happening to you. It's happening in your vicinity. It might be happening in your office. It might be happening in your field. It might be happening with somebody that you know. But with the Tower card reversed and the King of Cups, I am seeing that this is springing you into action. It's either putting you in a position to take on a role or a job, or maybe an income opportunity that wasn't available before. This may also put you in a position to assist or receive assistance, and may even free you up from some kind of something that's been walling you in. And with the Tower card reversed, it sort of creates a domino effect. I do feel like it's a stressful situation that has a positive domino effect, and you're going to be watching it. You have to get involved if you want to reap the rewards. As we get on to your communications, friends, relatives, other people in your life, we do have the Two of Swords in reverse, and a lot of you Leo people are going to be finding yourself in a position to actually start delving into closer one-on-one connections, and getting away from situations where maybe you've maybe a lot of really good relationships, maybe with King of Cups types of people, or, really good, strong characters in your life have not had a chance to establish themselves in your life. I'm actually seeing a lot of you deciding to focus more on, the individual relationships versus unit or tribe-oriented philosophy, which actually is going to, of course, be very much where it is. You may be actually finding that with the Two of Swords reversed as well, a lot of you are getting a chance to not only get much closer with a friend or maybe two that are maybe on the same life path as you, the same life mission, so to speak, as you, but you are also relieving yourself of a couple of associations that may actually be falling behind you. And, here's the thing. Sometimes people might act like they're getting left behind when they're falling behind, and some people don't know the difference. It's kind of like, this last year for me on this channel, when I decided to, take off my mask and merge my crazy esoteric other channel with this one, a lot of people were kind of like, you're leaving me behind, you're talking crazy. And it's like, no, actually, I'm not. That channel was always there. You could have already seen it. I'm just choosing to embrace this full side of myself, and I don't feel like compartmentalizing it for anyone. You might end up being in a situation to do the same thing. And if people accuse you of leaving them behind, you maybe have to ask them, look, you had the option not to. You chose to fall behind. As you go through this, though, you are going to find that you are getting into more and more advantageous positions in your life. You are getting into more and more advantageous relationships, but also closer brotherhoods and sisterhood types of connections that are going to give a lot of other areas of your life a considerable boost. As we get on to your challenge this week, you do have the Five of Wands in reverse, knowing when to drop things, knowing when to quit things that ultimately we just don't need to keep engaging anymore. Have we engaged them out of habit? Have we engaged them just because they've been around for a long time? Is it something that we've engaged because we feel like, well, it's tradition, all of that. This is a time where a lot of you Leo people need to be ready to just release. And I'm also seeing with the Five of Wands reversed, taking that energy away from what you might have done as a compulsion and giving it to these opportunities presented by the King of Cups, presented by the Tower reversed, presented by the Two of Swords reversed, is really going to open doors. As we get on to your relationships with love, romance, and partnerships, we've got the King of Swords upright. And it does look like a lot of you Leo people are going to actually be very, very happy with the relationship shift that is coming your way, because you're starting to attract a lot of people that are actually not, they're actually in a deeper place of intellectual, philosophical, and spiritual comprehension. And again, we're kind of drawing people in that are on your level, especially when it comes to being able to stay in the deep end and operate on the deep end. And this creates a much more profound intimacy, right? Because everyone's kind of operating from a different space of, personal, spiritual, and, intellectual maturity. The way the relationships then kind of develop from there go into a much more fulfilling place for all concerned. In fact, with the King of Swords upright, a lot of you may be bonding over some kind of nerdy niche. Maybe you both like a bit of Star Trek. Maybe you both like a bit of Lord of the Rings. It's all good. I also play Magic the Gathering. I'm a nerd. It's all about being able to actually bond on levels that are more deeply personal and non-physical with this card. And this is also something that you're going to notice in existing partners. For those of you who are currently with somebody or seeing somebody, you're going to be finding that there is at least a craving and an inclination and a demand for things to go in this more substantial area. And they may be purging a lot of things from their life that have actually been keeping them from being able to fully explore that. So that is what I've got for you, Leo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.